Hey, what's up, everyone? Aren't you glad the adults are back in the room? I mean, we got inflation at a 40-year high, even though they don't calculate the inflation rate the way they used to back in the day. So I think the real inflation rate is 11 point something percent instead of the 7 point something percent. Although I saw something a while back that was saying it was considerably way higher, some astronomical figure, like the highest inflation since they kept track of those numbers. But we got gas prices at an all-time high now. I don't know what the price of a barrel of oil is these days, but it's going through the roof also. And you got Potato Head out there. One day he's saying, I'm going to do all I can do, even though that doesn't include increasing the supply by encouraging more drilling in the U.S. We'll get to that later. Then a couple days later, he's out there saying, "Oh, it's all Putin and Russia's fault, and there's not much the administration can do about it." How about working with the energy companies, encouraging them to drill more? But we had Barack Hussein back in the day. He used to like to lead from behind. He wasn't leading at all. Just like this administration is a complete disaster. No leadership whatsoever. Finally, on Tuesday, they come out and decided we're going to ban Russian oil. Well, the U.S. isn't going to take any of it. I mean, there was multitudes of calls from, all kinds of people that should have been done far sooner. And the administration, when they hear all those calls, they're repeatedly saying, "Oh, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it." And they just switch their story every other day on all kinds of stuff. So instead of working with the U.S. energy companies and finding out, like Sucky likes to say, well, there's 9,000, and I'm not sure if it's a lease or a permit or if you need to have a lease and a permit, but out of those 9,000, which compared to a year ago, there was 37,000 leases. So obviously something's going on. And the energy companies, they say that they don't want to invest, spend money setting up to drill in these places, and then have the rug pulled out from under them because you got this administration's hostile to the fossil fuel industry. So instead, you got numbnuts. This plan is to go and beg for more oil from the likes of some very unsavory countries and characters and basically our enemies, right? So you're going to go ask for Iran to sell us more oil. Hello, the number one sponsor of terrorism in the world. Let's get oil from them so we can fund their terrorism, right? That's real smart and strategic thinking. Then he's over there asking Venezuela for more oil, negotiating with Maduro, who the U.S. doesn't even recognize as the legitimate leader of that country. And then the administration tries to contact the Saudis in the UAE. They don't even take Biden's call. Anyways, this administration tells a bunch of falsehoods and omissions about all kinds of things, especially relating to the energy situation in the U.S. Why don't they just come out and admit they're hostile to the U.S. energy companies? I mean, they've already admitted, and even Obama admitted, they want the price of gas to go through the roof because they don't want us to drive cars. Numbnuts is out there, what was it, a year or two ago? They're showing him driving his muscle cars, which are a bunch of gas hogs, and now he's out here telling everyone to drive electric. Well, everyone ain't got $60,000 sitting around to buy an electric vehicle. Oh, on some brighter side story, I hear the United Kingdom, their parliament the other day, they're talking about going nuke. So they're going to try to get energy independent by building some nuclear power plants, which, that solves all our energy problems and would solve the alleged climate crisis because nuclear energy has no carbon emissions. But, the same assholes that don't want us to use fossil fuels. They don't want us to use nuclear either, because the real agenda is not about saving the planet. It's about destroying our country. But anyways, you got this administration first out there telling people that, oh yeah, Poland can provide those fighter jets to the Ukraine, no problem. But then when Poland wanted to drop those things off at a U.S. airbase in Germany, now the administration comes out and say, oh, providing fighter jets would be escalatory. Well, why wasn't it the other day? These assholes don't know their fucking shit from Shinola. Then you got that clown Kamala over there in Europe. Oh, what's an embarrassment? She's a disgrace. She's out there giggling and cackling like she always does, right? They asked her about is the U.S. going to welcome refugees from the Ukraine? This broad, she's always out there promoting all the refugees come on over to the U.S. all the damn time. But this time around, she didn't say that. She basically deferred that question over to the representative from Poland. I wonder why. Could it be that maybe, I mean, it's probably racist, right? I mean, she don't want those European people over here. She welcome them from the Middle East, from Latin America, from anywhere but where the whitey's at, right? Those Ukrainian people, my understanding is they're more on a conservative side of the spectrum. So, you know, they don't want a bunch of refugees coming here, because if they're going to give the vote to all these other refugees from everywhere else who aren't even real refugees, they just claim that status. You know, Democrats, yeah, come on down, because they figure they can turn them into Democrat voters. Well, those Democrats know that those folks from Ukraine be less likely to vote Democrat, so they don't want them coming. Anyways, this whole Ukraine war situation, it's getting real bad, and I'd never take what's his name, Putin's side, but you know the propaganda's flying all over the place and has been from the get-go. But I think I agree with what what's his name? It looks like Colonel Sanders. Glenn Beck said this basically Ukraine versus Russia is basically Russia represents nationalist totalitarianism, and the other side, you know, that's a globalist totalitarianism, because you got some of those suspicious Ukraine government people with ties to suspicious American politicians, and we all know how politicians from here had their kids over there sitting on the corporate board of different companies making buku bucks for doing nothing other than providing access to American politicians. But there's also that strange situation going on, and I don't know the details, and I don't buy the conspiracy theories flying around. But the fact of the matter is, there were bio labs in Ukraine, so who knows what's going on with them. I'd like to find out the real story on that, but I'm sure we'll never get the truth about that, and if it does, it'll take forever. I mean, I feel for the Ukrainian people, but that doesn't mean I fully trust all these people in this country and people associated with the World Economic Forum. It's very suspicious, you know. And every day, like I said before, you get more and more calls for U.S. to get more and more deeply involved, such as a no-fly zone. I mean, if we go to war against Russia based on their performance against the Ukraine, I don't think they stand a chance against our military. But you know, at that point, let me take a little Jack and Diet Coke refreshment here first. At that point, you know, who knows what Putin's going to do? Use some nukes. Dangerous times we live in. But, you know, I think that everyone needs to keep in mind that the main concern that everyone in this country should have is not Russia, it's China. I mean, they're the real winners in this situation, because with all the sanctions that we're slapping on Russia, even though we're exempting this, that, and the other thing, That's going to hurt the U.S. economy, hurt the U.S. dollar, and China comes out the big winner in all of this. And they're just licking their chops to see when can they go into Taiwan, right? So, anyways, I just want to do a video today, kind of ramble on about the economy, the war in Ukraine, and the nefarious machinations of the unsavory scumbag lowlife politicians here in the U.S. who've been pulling all kinds of strings and having their strings pulled by, in my opinion, the likes of Soros, the World Economic Forum, and the CCP. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed my video. If so, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel and sharing this out with everyone. Catch you on the next one.